right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grooviest of streams this Monday. We're going to be having a very fun time, full of peace and love. As you can tell, I'm dressed up as a, 70s disco girl, which I just realized I actually look like, if you guys have ever watched the show Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, the girl, what's her name? Her name is Angel Dynamite, which I'll show you guys a picture in just a little bit of that character. And I'm giving those vibes considering she does radio disc jockeying and everything. As always, we also have Taylor on the program today.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, Mr. Belding, I will bring my permission slip on Monday. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, wife. Yeah. Sorry, guys. How's it going, everybody? That was totally my fault, but good to see you on this auspicious Monday. Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Is this Hallows Eve? Is that what we call it today? It's going to be a fun time. Now, normally, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big Halloween individual. I'll do a Halloween costume for the show. We sit, we chill or whatever, but you're not going to catch me at Halloween parties or anything like that. The last time I went to a Halloween party was actually Taylor's. Shout out to Taylor.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Because you love Halloween, right? Halloween's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, I do. We'll usually do some kind of party or soiree or whatever. And this year, since we don't have enough people to do stuff, my brother's got kids and everything, we just went all out decorating and did that cool Harry Potter lightning clouds with the floating candles outside. So at least the kids in the neighborhood will get to enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that. I know that when I am, older and I have kids and we're living in a neighborhood full of trick-or-treaters, that's when Halloween Amla is really going to come out. That's when I'm going to go hard because I know the whole house is going to be spooked out and decorated, answer the door for every trick-or-treater. I hope that it is still around by the time that I have kids because I feel like trick-or-treating is dwindling. You guys let me know in the chat down below. Maybe in the South and in the Midwest, it is still up and running, but I feel like you don't hear very much about trick-or-treating anymore. It's not a big, exciting thing to do. Halloween is sort of fizzled out a little bit. I hope that is not the case by the time that I have, a house and kids who are of trick-or-treating age. But yeah, let me know in the chat down below, what are you going to be for Halloween? Are you dressing up for Halloween? Are you doing anything special? Or are you doing chill vibes like me? Honestly, tomorrow I'm just going to be chilling at home and nothing special's going down. Taylor, are you doing anything super?
No, we're going to stick around. My brother invited us to go trick-or-treating, but they live 45 minutes away, so I didn't want to make the drive. So we're going to stick around at home and let the little kids come by and give them candy and do that, which I've been waiting to do my whole life, to actually have a house where kids can come. So
right. They just look so cute and everything. That's such a time in my life that I'm so excited for. But what happens if the kids aren't allowed to celebrate Halloween? We're going to read this story here out of Fox News. Here it is. Okay. A New Jersey school district canceled official school-wide Halloween celebrations, citing its diversity, equity, and inclusion values and the purported potential for the festival to be offensive to people from various cultural and religious backgrounds. Dr. Ronald G. Taylor, the superintendent of the South Orange and Maplewood School District, sent a letter to families on October 6th explaining why any Halloween celebrations in the district will have to be held after school hours, saying that essentially that they are committed to being an inclusive school and that their aim is to build a consistent approach across the district as to how our schools observe and celebrate holidays and special events. Now, I get it. This is the same song and dance that we do every single year with Halloween, where we talk about how, dressing up as a Native American is offensive, or putting on a sombrero is going to make Hispanic kids upset, and all these different things. Can the kids just be kids? Can't they just dress up and do what they want to do? When I was in school, everybody used to go hard on Halloween, and you do Spirit Week and all these different things where kids got the chance to express themselves. And it's one of the few times in the years where you can really go all out, dress however you want, be as goofy as you want to be, and, make jokes and, wear something from a different culture, whatever the case may be. And it's okay, because we've all sort of collectively agreed that that's what we do on this holiday. But no, for the sake of inclusivity and offensiveness, we won't do it anymore. And I do just want to go out on a strong limb here and think that, probably not all that many people are complaining about Halloween costumes and cultural sensitivity and offensiveness. It's either A, like a small group of people who are just being really loud about it, or B, it's virtue signaling at the highest degree where they have no complaints, but they just want to like get ahead of the horse and just get rid of Halloween just to make sure that nothing pops up and nothing happens. I, for one, have never been, sensitive, even when I was a leftist, about Halloween costumes and, wearing things from certain cultures or appropriating things, because it's quite literally what we've agreed to on Halloween. It's just what you do. You just wear a costume, and we all acknowledge that we are not the thing that we've dressed up as. And that's okay. So these poor school kids.
Poor school kids, yeah. Even as a Christian kid, like we usually had like Hallelujah Night, they called it, at church. And if you're religious, or if your family had a problem with Halloween or didn't think it was good, worth celebrating, like my family was kind of chill about it, so we could still go trick or treating, and we do the church thing too, so double candy. But the idea that we have to deprive all kids of this shared cultural experience. It's really what Halloween is. I mean, its roots are very historical, like back into like All Saints Day in Christianity, but even like there's some pagan elements in the history of it. But either way, it's Western civilization, America, celebrate this holiday as a shared cultural experience. It's something that brings people together, brings some levity to life, gives you something to look forward to. And just to deprive all students of that because some imaginary oppression is happening, or some imaginary offense is taken by certain students that aren't, like, you're being offended on behalf of these students. No one asked for this. And it's just funny. I saw that one of the quotes from the article, they said, our school district is committed to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion meaningfully, not just saying the words, but also promoting an inclusive school. And like, meaningfully just means you're going to find some sort of oppression or racism or reason to be offended where there is none, and then ruin it for everybody. And I can't help but think of Donald Trump's immortal words, everything woke turns to shit.
It is, and it just takes the color out of everything, which is really sad. If I really wanted to promote diversity and inclusion in a school, I would do so through initiatives like Halloween and allowing kids to just like have spirit and bring little bits of themselves to school on these days. And of course, school is for other things. We should take it very seriously, but it's nice to have just one day out of the year where you can have a little bit of fun if Halloween falls on a day that's during the school week. And I think that was something that kids always look forward to. So to sort of strip the color and the fun out of a day like that, it sucks, but at least they get to do it outside of school. I get it. But we have come across videos. And if you're a parent right now watching whose kid wants to dress up for Halloween, how do you tackle the idea of your kid wanting to dress as a Native American? Well, if you don't have an answer for that, luckily this parent has come up with a good script and a good conversation that you can have with your kid if they want to appropriate another culture.
My white kid wants to dress up as a Native American for Halloween. What made you think of that? Yeah, you really love watching Pocahontas, don't you? And you love her pretty clothes. Did you know that Pocahontas was a real person? Except that wasn't her real name, and the true story was a lot more complicated than the movie. We can look it up together to learn more about her life and her culture. But basically, people and cultural groups like Native Americans that have less power are often treated badly, made fun of, or hurt in different ways. So when a person or a whole culture is reduced to just a costume that we can put on and take off without us really understanding the meaning behind it or the struggles those people have been through, it can feel hurtful to them. Like, when I was a kid, a popular costume was hobo, which was just sloppy clothes and pretending not to have a home. But we wouldn't do that now. We didn't mean anything bad by it, but it made light of a serious situation without us appreciating how difficult it really is for people who don't have a place to live. I know you just want to wear the costume because you love the movie. It's not your fault that history can be so complicated. But since we're not from an indigenous culture like Pocahontas, and we'd be wearing clothes like hers just for fun, we should choose a different costume. Maybe you could dress up as an explorer to honor her bravery, or you could pick a costume celebrating our culture.
Gosh, it's just so fun, Mom. It's just like this is the best thing ever. I come to you and all I want to do is dress as Pocahontas. And then I get a full ass speech about the history of Native Americans and why. And at the end of it, I'm still not allowed to wear the costume. Can we get that clear? And I'll talk on this show a lot about like TV shows and movies where they're race swapping things and switching the characters and all that. And it's interesting to compare the two contexts from one another. And I really did ask myself, well, how is it different? And, you know, can we have a conversation surrounding if it's okay here, is it also okay there? I think it's different in the sense that if you're trying to sell a historical truth to people and you race swap characters, that sends a different message to the general public and the people who are viewing what you're doing. But we've all agreed that Halloween is for the time, is the time for dressing up as things that we are not, right? And it can be to poke fun at things. It could be to appreciate things. I imagine if you're a kid who wants to dress as Pocahontas, it's not to make fun of Native Americans, it's because you really love the story of Pocahontas and you love the Princess Pocahontas. So in a way, it is children showing deep admiration for other cultures and wanting to, you know, mold a little bit and step across the line in order to show that appreciation in something like a Halloween costume. And kids take that stuff very seriously. You know, they're thinking all year about what they're going to be for Halloween. And then you smack it down and say it's cultural appropriation, so they're not allowed to do it. And it's interesting because, you know, at PragerU, we used to have videos where, you know, Will would go out and wear the certain costume and ask people on the street, are you upset about this costume? And the people who weren't from the culture would say, absolutely, this is so offensive, you should never wear something like this. And then you go and ask a Native American and they go, yeah, I think it's cool that you're recognizing our culture on Halloween and it's something that you want to wear. And when you do get the moment to be something that you're not, you choose to be a Native American. It's okay, guys. It's okay.
Yeah, what's that kid going to take away from his parent or her parent scolding them for wanting to dress up as Pocahontas? Like, you're going to learn that, okay, Native American culture, that's something I shouldn't touch. It's something I should stay away from. It's like, I need to walk on eggshells around it. I need to be afraid of it. It's different. It's not the same as me. I need to create distance and treat it like respectfully from a distance or whatever, instead of just like encouraging your kid, taking it as an opportunity that they've shown interest in dressing up as something from another time, from another culture. Hey, what an opportunity to learn more about history. What an opportunity to learn more about this people group. That doesn't mean like you need to have your kid running around going, oh, and being all like mocking the culture. Of course, you want to tamp down on that type of behavior, but seize the opportunity to let them learn and just let them be a kid. Like, I see absolutely no problem with that. And the craziest part of that video for me was at the very end, the mom said, you can dress up as something from our culture to celebrate our culture. Like, how racist is that? That's literally like segregation. It's, you can only celebrate white cultures. You can only dress up as a white characters. Like, that is literally the opposite of progress. And yet these are the types of people who call themselves progressive.
Yeah, what was I saying? Last year I was like, you know what? I would love to see a little white kid who wants to be like Martin Luther King Jr. and like is inspired by MLK and wants to be MLK for Halloween. And I can't imagine being up in arms about that because just kids are not cognizant of these things. They just know, I like this person. This is what I want to be for Halloween. Now, I've certainly seen some like offensive Halloween costumes in my day, but I still think that they have the right to exist. I saw a TikTok video yesterday of this guy who went into Spirit Halloween, and there was a family costume dressing up as the Twin Towers, and you put your kid in a plain costume. That is like peak offensive, just trying to be a sort of like vulgar, crass costume. Now, am I going to be up in arms that that costume exists? No, I'm not. Is it going to be something that I'm going to buy for me and my family on Halloween? No, it's not going to be something that I buy for me and my family on Halloween. Do I think that the costume shouldn't exist or, you know, somebody shouldn't be able to create that? You know, you can do whatever it is that you want. And if that's the costume that you want to wear for whatever reason, you have every right to do that in the land of the free. It's just such a strange thing to waste energy on. But every year we go through this like cyclical conversation about what costumes are offensive, what you can and cannot wear. And the list is like, Native Americans, they don't want you dressing up as like Jasmine and Aladdin unless you're actually Indian. These just fortune tellers, tarot card readers. They don't want you being prisoners or like people like burglars because that either glamorizes or like fetishizes the prison industrial complex. Dude, do you know how far you have to read into all this? And then you mix in like the conversation of like feminists saying, why are all women's costumes sexualized and they're all like slutty and this and that, as if women didn't actively choose to make everything slutty. Like I have seen girls in LA, like where every Halloween I am astounded by the different characters that they somehow found a way to make into like a new slutty thing. They have like Buzz Lightyear and Woody. They have like slutty costumes you can do for that. Teletubbies. They have slutty Teletubby costumes. And you know what? If that's what you want to wear, you know, more power to you. And it's I guess a free for all. Halloween is the one time where we've accepted if you really want to go all out and dress in whatever way you want to be. That could be offensive, it could be funny, it could be slutty, it could be this, it could be that. Go ahead and do it. And then the next day we'll go back to normal. It's kind of like that movie The Purge where they're like, you can commit crimes for 24 hours. So during Halloween, you can commit fashion crimes, you could dress slutty, you can be as offensive as you want to be. And then when the 24-hour mark hits, we all go back to normal as if nothing ever happened.
It's the Wild West for a day. We asked you guys in the chat, is it offensive for people to dress up as things from other cultures for Halloween? 4% say yes, 96% say no. So it seems like the general sentiment of the population, at least this show, is that people need to take a chill pill on all this stuff.
People need to take a chill pill on Halloween. Now, speaking of a group of people that need to take a chill pill when it comes to Halloween, you guys have been, I'm sure, following the SAG-AFTRA strike, which is specific to actors who are in SAG in Hollywood. Now, they put out this sort of bulletin for this ongoing strike as to what SAG-AFTRA actors are able to wear during Halloween. And this is where it's a pretty common thing, and specifically within like progressive movements, to get just caught in the weeds on certain ridiculous things that make absolutely no sense instead of focusing on your broader movement. You know, when the actors came forward and said, I don't think we're paid enough residuals for, you know, the streaming that happens of our shows, I said, okay, we should run the numbers on that and see if what you're saying is actually true and you're not being paid proper royalties or whatever the word is. Let's look into that. They said, you know what? I'm concerned about AI and them using our faces after, you know, we've signed a contract, and then they have our faces and likeness in perpetuity and they can use that whenever they want. And, you know, actors are just going to be replaced by AI operating systems, essentially. And I said, okay, that makes sense. That's a valid concern. If you're, you know, an artist in the field of acting and you want to make sure that you're all protected against what could be a very prominent part of our future. But instead of focusing on those fronts, SAG-AFTRA put out this bulletin that says SAG-AFTRA on strike Halloween 2023. Make Halloween a scream with these SAG-AFTRA strike-friendly tips and tricks. If you're looking for guidance on how to celebrate Halloween this year while also staying in solidarity with the TV theatrical streaming strike, you've come to the right place. Choose costumes inspired by generalized characters and figures, ghosts, zombies, spiders, etc. This Halloween, don't post photos of costumes inspired by struck content to social media. Dress up as characters from non-struck content like an animated TV show. It's just like, why? Why are you choosing to focus on this when you could focus on, you know, what is actually important? You know, as Taylor says, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Focus on the real issue at hand, not what other actors are choosing to wear for Halloween. And rightfully, people started to call this out and say, you know, what are you talking about? This makes no sense. One of whom is Megan Fox. She posted her dressed up in a Kill Bill costume and tagged SAG-AFTRA. Also, Ryan Reynolds and Mandy Moore came forward and said, guys, this is ridiculous. This is the stupidest, you know, thing you guys have asked for this entire time. Can we please focus on what's important? And this is what happens when you place yourself into like a larger community or union. You get small groups of people with ridiculous ideas that are now able to speak on behalf of the entire group and to dictate what you do. It's happened within the Black community, it's happened within the LGBTQ community, and it's happening within this whole SAG-AFTRA strike. And luckily, it seems like people aren't gonna care or adhere to these rules, but it's just going to splinter off your movement when you allow ridiculous rules like this to be implemented. And still, every celebrity is dressing in their costumes. Every actor seems to be participating this Halloween, and the strike continues, I guess. So we'll see where that ends up. Now, we are gonna go into this next story. Do you guys know who Charli D'Amelio is? She is this TikToker who got famous for doing TikTok dances with her sister, and they're like the D'Amelio family. They now have their own reality show where they are followed, and it's essentially Charli and Dixie who are able to become mega stars on social media through basically TikTok dances and making content there. Charli is releasing a snack line, okay? And this snack line is going to be featured in Walmart. And coincidentally, I guess, right around the time of Halloween, this video gets posted on the internet. Let's watch. She's smiling. She's dressed in just essentially a Walmart costume that has her name on it. She's fixing her hair up, making sure she gets the photo op of her snacks being scanned. Now, just to give you a little bit of context here, Charli has millions of dollars, a huge platform, millions and millions of followers. And of course, the millions of followers did not take well to the cosplaying of a Walmart cashier. And the internet discourse surrounding this was just, how dare you, Charli, dress up as a Walmart cashier to promote your new line and sort of cosplay the daily lives of hardworking Americans while she's, making sure her makeup looks good and just getting the photo op. And, I'll give her grace in that maybe she is so far disconnected from everyday life that she thought this was a good idea. She's still young. Maybe somebody pitched this to her and said, this is the way that we're going to sell your new Walmart snack line, and it's going to really land well with the audience. They're going to love to see you in a more humble, modest place, working or pretending to work at a Walmart. But it's just so clearly tone deaf when you make that much money doing that. Imagine Kim Kardashian with all of her makeup done, hair pressed, the Skims outfit. Imagine her putting on a Wendy's hat, getting behind the cashier, the register, and pretending to take your order for like a 30-minute shoot. I imagine, people wouldn't take too kindly to that. People wouldn't view that as the greatest thing to do. And it seems like Charli is just the one who fell for the idea here, and now is going to deal with the brunt of people coming after her. Do I think it's that big of a deal? No. I think, the world will get over it, much like they do with everything that happens every single week. But nonetheless, this was a tone-deaf choice on her part. Just wow.
And there was a couple more of these this past year. I think there was like Lana Del Rey did it, not at Walmart particularly. I think Lady Gaga got some heat a while back from doing it at Starbucks. So, and then people as I did a quick Google search, that Ben Affleck has been doing the Dunkin' Donuts commercials, and apparently he dressed up like a Dunkin' Donuts worker in those. So it's like people are treating it as this celebrity tendency to treat everyday people's lives as some kind of, some kind of experience that they get to just vacation in or cosplay for a moment. And I guess it is a little tasteless. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. It depends very much on the situation of like what you're trying to accomplish there. But it doesn't give the best look for sure.
It's interesting because I feel like celebrities and influencers are just gonna like take over all the realms of, you know, influence in our world. It used to be that they were their own sort of separate thing. They didn't have, you know, snack lines and restaurants and, you know, the perfumes, and then they go from acting to a music career, and then they're sponsored by, you know, Dunkin' or Burger King or all this stuff. But now you see them everywhere. If you become a super famous influencer with a mega following on the internet, next is a snack line, then you have perfume, then you open up, you know, a fast food joint, then you are a model during New York Fashion Week, then you're starring in movies. And it seems like the currency of our time is the amount of persuasion you have on the internet. So if you can build a, you know, a massive audience, it opens up the door for so many other arenas, and it feels like it's maybe shutting other people out, but that's just the natural progression of things. I wonder how far the influencer, you know, pyramid is going to grow, because they're hitting a lot of tiers right now. I saw a video that said, you know, influencers are going to fizzle out like supermodels did. Supermodels were huge, you know, in the 90s, and they were everywhere and on every cover and releasing all these different lines, and then it just sort of fizzled out as the culture moved with it. What happens to influencer culture? I do not know, but I will be here to watch it. I guess I sort of count as an influencer. Maybe this will all fizzle out for me, and you know, I'll be around to watch it like a dying star.
We were just talking about doing maybe a video on influencers who retire from influencerdom, and you know,
Yeah.
like PewDiePie is a good example of like he's like reached the top of YouTube and now he's just kind of like doing his thing, living the family life. And who was it? Morgan Zegers has kind of just transitioned from being really outspoken about political issues and stuff. She was a commentator on the conservative side. I say was, which still kind of is, but has taken a step back from that and changed the lifestyle, which I'm like, give respect, and it's an interesting phenomenon. But maybe the culture will do it for you if this trend is what you say it is.
Yeah, I just have a feeling it's like it feels like one of those phasal things, like it's like a bubble that's soon going to burst. I mean, how far can social media really expand? And now we have so many people who are just reaching stardom overnight, and it's becoming so saturated. Like it used to be when we were younger, at least, and like right when social media was becoming a huge thing and you had Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff, it was like if you had a viral video, which viral at the time was like, this got 3 million views, you went from like it being on the internet to you're on Ellen being given a car, or like on Oprah having a conversation. Now, if you get like 3 million views on the internet, it's like you and another 100 million people who have done the same thing, and you have all these mega influencers who get like 1 million followers here, 1 million followers there. I can't even keep up with who is on all these platforms now. So maybe it like just splits into niches and that's how it goes. Or maybe it just fizzles out and it's on to the next thing. Like TikTok and all these TikTok influencers, that was in what, like 2019 was when, is that correct? 2019? That's kind of the timeline for TikTok sort of taking off.
I was late to the party on TikTok, so I'm not the best. It was Musical.ly back then, I think, and then TikTok, it rebranded sometime in that, like 2018, 2019.
Yeah, just like look how quickly that platform took off and created like a whole slew of new celebrities that now have like perfumes and TV shows and stuff like that. It's just crazy to think about what the whole landscape is going to look like in 5 years, and a little like dystopian and scary. So
yeah, and I think a lot of them, like you get one viral video that pops off because you did something funny or creative or whatever, and then that becomes your shtick, because in order to get the same engagement with all your new followers, well, they're following you because you told that one joke, so you tell it again, and then you put a different spin on it, and it becomes this thing that maybe you can kind of become a slave to, and then some influencers, the successful ones, can maybe reinvent themselves and showcase different parts of their talent or personality, but I think a lot of them kind of fizzle if they can't sustain that, because inevitably people get tired of the shtick, or the joke's not as funny the 20th time you say it. But I do think like the ones that have staying power, the influencers that'll have staying power, are people who of genuine talent, who can genuinely do things that other people can't do, whether that's in their musical performances or their vocal talent or whatever it may be, creativity. And in your case, I would say and I'm sure our beloved audience here would agree, that it's the ability to speak how you speak is just so rare, and your story and everything. So I wouldn't be too worried about yourself because you've got a unique sort of talent and story there. I mean, sure hope so, because I've hitched my wagon to you. No, but I think we'll be okay, and I think you've got more staying power than a lot of influencers. But it's interesting to think about.
Whatever you do, just don't dress up as a Walmart worker for a photo shoot. Like, please, just please, whatever you do, don't make that happen, because it just won't land
career.
well. You know, speaking of good Halloween costumes, and we're going to get into Super Chats right after this, I just wanted to shout out, it looks like Riley Gaines' hubby got into this costume. My husband's Halloween costume has given me a newfound respect for all the men who voluntarily wear women's suits. Should have gotten his suit from Target, of course, in reference to the Target suit that was made for men who are tucking and all that stuff. So it's a female suit for biological men, and there he is dressed up as we all know. If you're a man dressing up as a female swimmer, we know who it's supposed to be, and hit the nail right on the head. What I've been seeing definitely this Halloween, which I love, is a lot of people just making like really niche jokes, or just really going all out with just like funny, obscure references in a year like no other. And I don't know if that's because like Gen Z is finally being able to inject their humor into Halloween costumes and stuff, but the Halloween costumes have been really fun to watch. I've seen a lot of discourse of people saying, with everything that's going on in the world, I don't understand how anybody could get in a Halloween costume right now, or how anybody could be, showing off their makeup, or, dressing in a costume or whatever. And to that, I say, I'm so understanding of people who feel that way. And I think there are a lot of people, around the world right now who are not going to participate in holidays with everything that's going on. But it is something that just sort of takes the air out a little bit, right? And it's not going to, change the landscape really, regardless of what you do. So you can kind of choose to have a moment of fun in a world that constantly has, horrible things going on, or you can choose not to. And it's okay, whatever decision that you make. It's just interesting to watch people shame others for choosing to have this moment in, yes, their world and in their community to, dress up for Halloween. And it does beg the question, right, that, if you feel this way now about people dressing up for Halloween in the midst of everything that's going on, you should probably feel that way about any holiday all the time, because there are always horrific things happening all over the world. And I know that's not the most fun thing to hear when somebody's making that argument, but it is simply the truth. So I don't think people should be made to feel ashamed for taking a moment to have a little bit of fun in their day. But it's an argument that I've seen quite a bit. Now, speaking of having fun, let's get into your Super Chats, guys. Let's hear from you guys.
Let's do it. Okay. Alex Lusher is kicking us off today. Says, just thought I'd stop by and say hi. Gonna marathon the Jeepers Creepers film for the Halloween season. TTYL. Everyone.
Oh, nice. I still have to finish the last Halloween Town. And I think that's what, Return to Halloween Town? That's the final film. I need to finish that. And then I'm trying to think of my other go-to Halloween movies. We already hit Coraline. We finished that. Corpse Bride, finished that. Nightmare Before Christmas, finished that.
Wow.
I have a whole laundry list every holiday of movies that need to be seen. And as soon as this is over, you got to do the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special and everything. And then you move on to Christmas. That's just
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is Thanksgiving, but I'm still in Halloween mode. I'm not ready to let it go, so I don't want to focus on that yet. But
yeah, this whole week's for Halloween, I guess.
I'm definitely Harry Potter 3 and 4 are my Halloween top of the list there. Can't really. Did you do Hocus Pocus? I feel like that's a huge one.
Okay, so I want to do Hocus Pocus, but every year, me and my grandmother, they show Hocus Pocus at the movie theater, and we would go to it back home in Florida. So I feel bad watching Hocus Pocus without my grandma. So it just makes me sad. So I think I'm gonna abstain from that movie this year.
You guys let us know in the chat. I just asked, what's your must-watch Halloween movie every year, if you have one? I don't like scary. I don't think, Amla, you don't like scary movies in particular too much, but
not a fan.
All right, Freaky Be Normal just sends a super chat, no message. Thank you, sir, or ma'am.
Appreciate it.
AVJR says, Amla, do you know the 1975 is playing at iHeartRadio's Alter Ego? I'm not a fan of them, but I bought a ticket to go there because of Paramore and Sum 41. Also, you look fantastic. Enjoy the day.
I did know that they are playing there. I almost thought about just going and watching it, but I'm like, I would only go to a concert that is just them. I don't want to like spend the money on all the extra stuff. So if I could buy just their concert tickets, I would go. But I'm glad you're going. I'll live vicariously through you.
You could get me there for Sum 41.
Sum 41, okay.
41 fan. Yeah. Into deep, fat lip, such good stuff. Stephanie Fonseca says, my friend asked if it was okay to take part in Dia de los Muertos. Made me sad. It's not a religion, just a way to honor your past loved ones.
Yeah, I think that's like a beautiful thing. And what a nice thing that she asked. Hey, can I like participate in this? And that you were welcoming to it. I can't imagine asking that question and someone being like, no, you are not allowed to participate in this because you're white or whatever. Ugh, crazy. So I'm glad that she, of all people, asked you.
Yeah, it's a great example of like respectfully engaging with something that may not be from your culture, rather than just putting up a wall there and being like, oh, that's for you, or, you know, I couldn't possibly. So
right.
Great for your friend. Cameron Campbell says, I love your hair today. Are you dressing up? What are you dressing up as? I'm being a Hogwarts student. I'm
a lot of different things, which I forgot to show you guys the Scooby-Doo. So I could be Foxy Cleopatra, which is Beyonce in the Austin Powers movie. I could be just general 70s girl, okay? And then, here's a deep cut. If you watch Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, that cartoon that came out, and it's sort of like, it was a later, more modern version of Scooby-Doo TV show. There's this character, and her name is Angel Dynamite, and she's like a sidekick to the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated crew. And I feel like I look just like her. I got the headphones on, I got the mic, we got the booties. Can you see them? So yeah, I feel like I could be a number of different things today, but I'm feeling good.
Lie. Julie Minchova just says, nothing, sends a super chat. Thank you, Julie. Get123 says, Amla, are you Foxy Cleopatra from Goldmember?
There you go. Could be.
Yes, you nailed it.
Whatever you want me to be.
Cameron Campbell again says, I think this shows how lost our generation is. We want to have a purpose and be a hero, but when we live in a country with so many rights and freedoms, we have to make up problems to solve.
Yeah, it really is, man. I just remember just the whimsy of being a child and that childlike wonder that you get where just like you wake up one day and all of a sudden it's Halloween and your parents throw a costume on you and you get to just like have a good time and you're walking out at night, the chill in the air, and you're just getting free candy from a bunch of strangers. Which, you know, in the modern day, it sounds kind of like weird. So I wonder if it's going to become this like archaic thing that sort of ages out as just the world gets a little crazier and people get more sensitive and we just have less trust for the people around us. It's just sad to think that one day there's not going to be this same sort of childlike wonder in these same holidays that we had.
Some Karen mom is going to sue their neighbor over a peanut allergy in their kids' candy.
For real.
Next thing you know, it's going to be banned everywhere.
It's just tragic.
Move on from razor blades and apples and stuff. Christopher Alcine says, let's cancel The Walking Dead and zombie movies just to be safe because zombies are from Haitian folklore and they have been oppressed for far too long.
See, if you search long and hard enough, you will find a way to make anything offensive. We should have played Can You Make It Offensive today for Halloween.
Yeah, tell us what you're dressing up as and we'll find ways to make it offensive.
Drop it in the chat.
Super Awesome You says, parents will allow their children to wear costumes that are satanic, demonic, grotesque, and evil, but will not let their child dress like Pocahontas. Pocahontas is a hero from our history. It's honoring Native Americans.
I know, that's like so dope. I used to love Pocahontas as a kid and Mulan and all these different things, and had I wanted to be them for Halloween, I think that would have been something that should have been welcomed. It just goes to show that for kids, they don't even register the possibility that that could somehow be wrong. It's like that that picture that always circulates. It's like a boomer Facebook post, but it's so cute. It's these two little kids, a white boy and a black boy, and they both have the same fade in their hair, and they like came to school, they got the same haircut, and they're like going around telling all the kids like, look, we're twins, you can't even tell us apart. Which, like, duh, one's white and one's black, but it's just like they don't register that, and it's so adorable. Sad.
Yeah, it's so sweet. And that's what's so silly about the logic of being offended by the Pocahontas thing. Like, even if the Disney movie is not historically accurate and leaves out a lot of nuance about the Pocahontas, who she really was, and the story and all that, like, from the kid's point of view, it's Pocahontas, heroine. This is cool. It's another time. I want to dress up and participate in that. And you can like encourage that in a healthy way and without selling them or entrenching like lies in their thinking. I'm not saying we should be historically inaccurate, but also don't shame your kid whenever they're trying to participate in or celebrate something that happens to be from another culture. Like,
Right.
that should be encouraged. Okay, Fifi Gigantor says, in elementary school, I once dressed as Howard Stern to my tiny Christian school fall festival. A few teachers and parents gave me looks, but for the most part, no one cared.
Dude.
People these days are too sensitive.
That's crazy. Dressing a little kid up as Howard Stern is wild. The only question I would have is just like, how well do you know who you're dressed up as right now? And hopefully not all that well, because Howard Stern is known for his vulgarity, you know, at the very least. That's hilarious, though.
Yeah, that would be
so
terrifying
funny.
at a conservative Christian Halloween party.
Yes,
for sure.
it would. Oh my gosh, some of the things he's done on his radio show. Wow.
That's like, I have to reshare my joke this year, but a couple years ago during the height of the COVID stuff, I was like, I'm going to terrify my LA friends this year and show up to Halloween festivities as an unvaccinated, cis, hetero, straight, white male and just watch everybody flee in terror.
That's hilarious. Yeah, my boyfriend John, a while ago, before we had even met, he has like this old photo of him dressed up on Halloween, and he's just wearing a white T-shirt that says privilege on it. And I was like, you know what? We were meant to meet because you were doing this before it was even acceptable to, like, you know, to do. He was ahead of the curve. It was before there was even, you know, these mass conversations about it all the time.
Oof. Cameron Campbell again says, crazy story. My cousin got mad at my grandpa. My grandpa is Mexican with Native heritage for wanting to dress up as a Native American. My cousin then got a Jesus costume. Yes, my cousin was high.
Okay, there you go. Do people get offended by Jesus costumes? Is that a thing? I could see
don't
that.
know. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. Like, especially if it's done in a way that's like mockery.
Uh-huh.
Like, what was that
Sisters of
Sisters thing
Perpetual
in the-
indulgence or
indulgence.
whatever.
at the Dodgers thing? They were dressing up but like in a mocking way.
Right.
Not cool, man. Laurel Lies Non-Animation says, my Christian family and I go back and forth on Halloween, but my beloved aunt passed away early this summer, and I'll be dressing as Jessica Rabbit to honor her, so Halloween has a new meaning for me.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, it's just it's cool because it's a day that you can express yourself in so many different ways. It could be something meaningful, it could be something funny, it could be a deep cut to something else, and just like, you know, nobody's the wiser. You just get to do what you want to do, and there's like a small freedom in that I would like to keep.
Totally. We did get a $50 super chat from Gal Pal Val. Says, in the 90s for International Day in high school, I wore an amazing Vietnamese dress my mom had. Never crossed my mind about appropriating. Saw a beautiful dress, it looked good, and wanted to share. I got compliments from my Vietnamese friends. Was it wrong?
No, it in fact was not. And I think, yeah, for the most part, people from the culture itself are going to be like, oh, wow, that's cool. Where'd you get that? And, you know, we, of course, recognize that. That's awesome. When I was on Dr. Phil, we did a cultural appropriation episode, and one of the girls who was there had gotten in trouble for dressing in traditionally Asian garb for prom, and had all these people of Asian descent reaching out to her and saying, this is so cool. It's so awesome that you chose to do this on your prom night, which is a very important night for most teenage girls, right? And white people who were just like freaking out on her and saying, how dare you wear this? And just like, you know, the white ally leftists who were always like trying to create a problem. And she's like, yo, I have Asian people telling me this is totally fine and that they appreciate it and admire it, and then you're telling me I can't do it anymore. And the general consensus, luckily, from the audience that day was like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Go about your business.
Holocene says, growing up, I've seen people of every color dress up as white characters. Halloween is all about dressing up as whatever you want to.
Yep, that's it. And nobody thinks that it's real. Nobody thinks that you're like trying to be offensive. I've seen like, which is interesting, like the celebrities who do blackface. Like every year, Julianne Hough's photo of her dressing up as Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black pops up, and I'm just like, could not care less I could not care less about you doing that. In fact, I think it's funny. So it's fine. It's not racist. Not like she hates black people.
Cat123 says, at least Charlie isn't lecturing us on carbon emissions while flying around in private jets, unlike DiCaprio or Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, no, I don't think that thought has occurred to Charlie ever. I think
She did lecture us on BLM stuff, though, right?
was that her? That's what I was trying to remember as I was like going through the story. I'm jogging my brain. I'm like, was it Charlie or was it Dixie? And I can't remember if it was Charlie or Dixie. If you guys know, drop it in the chat down below. But they did make this whole like pro Black Lives Matter video on TikTok at the height of it. That was just so uncomfortable and awkward because you could tell it was sort of like an obligatory, I have to say something video. But yeah, I don't know if it was Charlie or Dixie.
Maya says, first time I ever caught a live, just hopped in though, so I'll definitely have to watch the replay. Nice fit, by the way.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, it's just been a chill show today. We didn't have, too many crazy things to talk about. Just a little fun Halloween catch up.
Samuel Sabo says, hey, I arrived late. What's Amala dressed as? By the way, have you guys watched the TV show Ted Lasso? Comedy's Not Dead.
I've never seen the TV show Ted Lasso, although I have heard about it and I know it's super popular and people really love it. Who's in that? It's not Jason Sudeikis, is it? It is Jason Sudeikis. Yep. Okay.
I actually just started it this week with my wife this past weekend. We watched 2
nice.
episodes and it's good. I get the hype. There is the underlying values that it was promoting in certain things, like with regard to his split up with his wife and stuff. I was like, it's not quite it, but overall, it's good and it's funny and it's well done. So
gotcha.
Laura Lies Not Animations says, part 2, I've never liked Jessica Rabbit. I always thought she was overrated and slutty, but after watching clips, I can see what my aunt saw in her.
I think she's gorgeous. Yeah, I do love Jessica Rabbit. She's just like, the classic female sex symbol. I've viewed her. She's kind of like the cartoon version of Marilyn Monroe. I love Jessica Rabbit because of the Who Framed Mr. Rogers, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Sorry, not Mr. Rogers. That'd be hilarious if that was about Mr. Rogers. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a movie that I was talking about recently because I need to go back and rewatch it. I know it's obviously out there somewhere, but I love that movie, and she's clearly the sex symbol of that film. She's such a hot cartoon that real human beings have a crush on Jessica Rabbit.
I've never seen that movie.
Really?
Interestingly enough, no.
It's a good one. It's a good film.
Amy Love says, happy Halloween, Amala. I thought you were Foxy Cleopatra from the 3rd Austin Powers movie.
You know what? I very well could be. Whatever pops up in your imagination, that's what I am for Halloween.
Let's see. Shaniqua says, first time catching you live due to time difference. I'm an OG and absolutely love the new show. Truly awesome. Love from Israel.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad that you've been able to catch the show. Welcome.
Poutine and Poltergeists says, the problem with today is the diversity of thought is deemed offensive, whereas focusing on the most superficial elements of the human condition are lauded as essential. This will doom us.
Yep. It's sad because it's like, then now there's conversations that you can't even explore or have anymore, at least comfortably. And we really need to like foster and facilitate that because it's going to open up just the overall human experience so much more when you're able to do that. And it's sad that we've become so superficial in the way that we talk about it. And the fact that we get so upset about superficial things that do not matter is crazy. Crazy.
Kate Svensson says, when my kids were in grade school, the principal tried to ban ghosts, witches, etc. All the parents ignored him and no one was hurt.
Tried to ban what?
Ghosts, witches, and etc.
I wonder why. It's just so... Let people do what they want to do. If they want to dress up as a ghost or a witch or whatever, allow it. It's fine. It's fine. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it.
Yeah, like in an elementary school setting, I'm like, okay, maybe like things that are particularly gory or disturbing or whatever, you could say nothing too excessive in the school setting. But as far as like the innocent little, imagery that goes along with Halloween, like bats and witches and ghosts and whatever, I think that's all totally in bounds.
It's cool.
Let's see. Hayden Dawson says, I've been watching this show for a while. You and Taylor's perspectives have helped me so much when discussing these hot topics with others. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We try. We're trying to armor you guys with just just conversation, just how to do it and have it, and hopefully have it go well.
DS says, first time catching a live stream. With the time difference, it's not an easy task. Love you guys and what you do. Shout out from French.
What time is it there? It's
gotta be close to like 10 or 11 p.m.
Oh, why did that not work? I'm trying to look. Ah, yeah, it's almost 10 p.m. Are you an early sleeper, it seems. Is 10 p.m. early? I don't know.
Probably not. I don't know.
Is it not an early sleeper?
For me.
I'm a night owl, so yeah, it seems early.
A little bit. Yeah. You're an early morning and night owl person. I don't know how you do both. Just don't sleep, but.
Barely. Yeah, I don't. I like feel like I'm just delusional half the time. That's what it is.
Selena Monforte says, what's your opinion on the next Snow White live action movie and the Rachel Zegler drama?
Oh, you're going to know my exact
Perfect
opinion on
timing.
that. Yeah, you just created a great segue. You'll know my opinion on that tomorrow, because that's what tomorrow's video is about. The movie being moved to 2025, plus some of the changes that might be put into the film. So, tomorrow.
Dave the Wave says, happy Halloween, guys. I'm so glad I'm able to catch Monday Lives right now. You guys are great to hang out with. Love you guys.
Oh, thank you. We're happy to have you. You guys are great to hang out with. I know I can't hear from you half the time, but it's a great hang.
Knowing you're there makes it a good time.
Does.
Freaky Be Normal says, been watching since the first Will and Alma Live. Finally got to see my first live stream. Wow, that
is awesome.
How did you miss every live stream?
Hey,
that's great
it's
that you're
a timing thing.
Here.
We can't catch all of you. It's the unfortunate thing. If we could catch all of you for a live stream, we would.
Gotta catch them all. Cameron Campbell again says, Halloween has a long history in Celtic culture. It was brought here by immigrants to celebrate Celtic culture. It has changed through the years.
Oh. I don't know all the
really
background of, everything that was happening at the time that brought this about. I've heard so many differing stories, so I can't tell like what's myth and what's true.
Yeah, I think on one of the episodes a couple of years ago on maybe on Will and Alma, we reacted to like a video that explains the history, or maybe I just researched one. But,
I think
it's hard to retain.
I forget what it was. Like there was a reason behind wearing masks and, what they were trying to, I forget. I'm not even gonna try to explain.
Like, jack-o'-lanterns have their own history. Trick-or-treating has their own history. Like all these little elements coalesce in it, but it's cool because it's just like a coalition of culture.
Right.
And we all can kind of share in that. Olivia Galarno just sends a super chat, no message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Celtic Blacksmith says, barely made the end of the show. We got Foxy Cleopatra and Taylor is 90s Taco Bell carpet. Just fabric. It kind of is that pattern.
It is kind of like the old school Taco Bells. Yeah, it is a little bit.
It's just a 90s pattern. But yeah, I'm going for Zach Morris. Got the 90s phone and everything. So
I loved Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell is such a good show. Oh man.
Yeah. My other deep cut 90s reference that I really enjoyed, but only some people got, only real ones got when I went out the other night was the pizza boy from Home Alone. He works at Little Nero's Pizza, and he's got like the jacket and the red hat.
That's awesome.
A little pizza box that went into this that. So I thought about doing that one today, but I'm like, no one's gonna know.
Oh, but I love Halloween costumes that only small groups of people will understand, because when you are a part of that small group that gets it, it's just like, kindred spirit.
Mm-hmm. Like I looked out across the place we were at the other night, and I saw a girl and like Home Alone, and like telling the person next to her like that's the best, bro. I'm like, yeah, she got it. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Cheesecake bro, there he is. What's going on, man? Says, hey there, gang. I just had to say this, but I'm not sure which one is worse, your costume or the 1975 band. Very tough decision. LOL, JK.
That was rude.
Savage.
You were fired, effective immediately.
Is the costume inspired by the fact that you liked the 1975 band and you picked a 70s costume?
No, it is not. I wish it
happy
was.
Coincidence.
I wish it was. Happy coincidence indeed.
I'm a La Kenobi 2.0 says, can we have a moment of silence for Matt Perry? Can I be any more bummed out? Rip Chandler Bing.
Yeah, it's sad. I was like, I was not really a follower of Friends or anything like that, so I've never really watched the show or had any sort of deep connection, but I had seen all of the news of him doing his book and how that had all, panned out, and he seemed like he was maybe on the up and up, and then that ended up not being the case, it seems. I'll be curious to see, like what comes out, because they said that the autopsy was deferred, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. Does anybody know what that means?
I don't know what it means, but yeah.
But yeah,
it's very sad to hear.
We'll give him a moment.
This week.
All right.
Sephora June says, you both look great. Say expression and representation you like is fine. I say expression and representing something you like is fine. I'm Romanian, but I'm not triggered by seeing kids dress as vamps.
Right. It's fine. It's okay. And how deeply could that really be hurting you? Like, really? How sensitive do you have to be as a person that, like, seeing somebody in a Native American headdress or dressed as a vampire or dressed as, somebody from India really, like, puts you in pain? And if so, I'd venture to say it's more of a you issue than it is a them issue.
100%. Maria M just sends a super chat, no message. Thank you. Brute Slayer 17 says, which jollof rice is better, Nigerian, Liberian, or Ghanaian? Also, your costume is awesome, and learning more from Taylor is always interesting to hear.
Thank you. I've never ventured outside of Nigerian jollof rice, so I'm just gonna vote with my Nigerians and say Nigerian jollof rice is the best. But I imagine it's all very similar, and it'll be different depending on the specific individual that makes you jollof rice. But you've made me want African food, so I might get some after the show, now that you've reminded me that exists.
Cameron Campbell again says, unpopular opinion, South Park is the most important TV show on air. In this age of restrictions and political correctness, South Park gets free reign.
That's a good hot take, I feel like. If you're living in a time where people are not able to have these conversations and have to walk on eggshells all the time, and you just bust through the door and say what you want to say, which they've done most recently with their whole Into the Pandaverse thing, I think that's awesome. And they're one of the few shows, if not the only show, that is capable of doing that without getting reprimand from a general audience. It's weird that it's sort of a culturally accepted phenomenon that South Park can make whatever jokes South Park wants to make, but nobody else can, which is so weird.
Yeah, and it's the same reason why I think that X is the most important social media platform, because it's the least restrictive of speech. And totalitarianism cannot exist where free speech is protected. And so as long as you have people who can satirize the truth and say things that you aren't supposed to say, whether that's on a platform like South Park or saying it on a platform like X or just in your life, I mean, that's how you fight against these people who are trying to control your every thought and your entire life.
Right.
So I take your point. Super awesome. You says, I was fat Thor last year. Was I culturally appropriating the Asgardians?
Yeah, I guess you were. And I'm sure somebody can find a way to accuse you of being fatphobic in doing that as well. So, but cool costume.
I mean, it's also Scandinavian history and lore that you dressed up as a Scandinavian god and maybe mocked him. So we should all be very offended at that as well. But they were white, so no one cares. It's fine. Cameron Campbell says, I just got that one. Josh Badillo says, have you seen the new South Park special? It's comedy gold.
I haven't seen I've only seen the clips that are going around. I was looking for what a streaming service that it was on. I think it's on Paramount Plus, which I do not have, which sucks because normally South Park is on Max. Like, Max has all the South Park episodes, but they don't have Into the Pandaverse. So what's up with that? And where is it? Because I want to watch it.
Oh, tragic. I do have Paramount Plus, and I started watching the episode, but I had seen so many of the clips that I was like, okay, I don't have to sit.
I feel like I've watched this already. Yeah.
Yeah. It's already ruined the jokes for me on social media. DS says 10 p.m. is not inherently late, but I do wake up around 4 a.m. for work most of the time. So ended up taking the habit of not going to sleep too late.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I woke up at 6 this morning after having gone to bed late, and I will tell you, every single time I do that, I regret it with every atom of my being. And yet, when Monday rolls around next week, I'm gonna do the same thing because glutton for punishment, I guess.
It's hard to like to go back and forth like on the weekends. Like, you kind of have to do the same thing every day because that day of shifting it just throws you off.
Right. Doesn't work.
Maria M says, I went to that school. Sorry, I just sent this, but I don't know if it went through. I'm from Maplewood. I love it there, but it's so woke. Love y'all.
Yeah, Maplewood. Now y'all can't celebrate Halloween. That sucks. Oh my gosh. What a legacy.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Ruining it. Let's see. I think we're mostly caught up here. Here's one more from Cheesecake Bro. Amala, I sent that rude but savage super chat because everyone is simping over you and your costume. LOL. Not a bad costume choice, though, not gonna lie.
Oh, so this is Alex. He has to balance out simp culture and I guess because he's red pilled.
Red pill culture. Yeah.
Because he's red pilled. Did we get this one from Jamora?
A couple, yeah. I see. Well, Ruben Moraga says the Great Melting Pot has become a distillery where cultures used to blend. They are now told to remain themselves.
Dude, it's crazy. Now it's like we've gone so far with like all the multiculturalism that now we have to like place ourselves in boxes, which is so dumb because it's so antithetical to even being in the same community together if we all have to like segregate ourselves, which humans naturally do, right? In some small ways. Like if you go to any like metropolitan area in the United States, they have like a little Armenia and a little Ethiopia and a little China, and everybody sort of sectors themselves off, which is just what humans do. They find things that are similar and then they create little patterned systems. But even still, you can like share amongst the little groups that you live in. And now it's like, don't share. Don't go wear a costume that's from another culture. Don't go make food from another culture without, citing your sources. Ugh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah, and that's what America is supposed to be. The American ideal is like, we have a shared cultural identity as Americans, but that doesn't ask you to give up your entire identity from whatever heritage you're from. The American identity says that you're an essential part of this bigger culture as long as you adopt the American ethos and the American values. Like you're one of us, and that's how we have a melting pot. But whenever you no longer allow that process to happen, and you're just like, okay, well, nobody can touch this culture over here. This one's more oppressed in history, so this one was the oppressor, so they have to apologize for everything. It's just this giant mess that's unsustainable. And you can't build a healthy society based on that. You can't build a healthy community, and it just interferes with absolutely everything and is again the opposite of progress. Jamora says, I think South Park gets away with it because absolutely nobody and nothing is off the table. Everyone's getting roasted.
Yeah, there's something to say about being fair and balanced, but then it's like also, like Dave Chappelle is very similar in his comedy. He gives it to black people, to white people, to men, to women, trans people, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then like for some reason, there's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time or saying the wrong thing at the wrong time that just like sparks a cultural outburst in response. And it seems like South Park has never really had to deal with it. Of course, there's been people who have rallied behind like getting South Park off of the TV because it's just like too crass in general and it's like crazy. But I don't think that it's ever been like, we need to cancel them because they made fun of black people or something like that. Ever.
Yeah, I think over time it's been such a cultural institution that they've just kind of gotten enough armor to where it's like, it's South Park. They're going to say whatever.
Right.
And they've just kind of put themselves in that position, but thankfully so. Madian Hadar says, hi, Amala, thanks. Or hi, Amala, hi, Taylor in Nashville. What's your favorite wild animal and why?
Wild animal? Elephants? Does that count? That counts. What, elephants? I have always loved elephants. I don't know what it is. I always just love elephants, the way that they look, everything about them. Elephants and spider monkeys. It's always my thing. Monkeys. Spider monkeys.
I'm going to go with a tiger. I have one behind me there, mainly because I went to LSU and they're our school mascot. So, and plus they're just badass. Like tigers are awesome. I got that little set piece in Myanmar, actually at a market. There's like a hand carved wood thing.
Okay,
that
Mr. Worldwide.
I'm looking for a use for. My wife, it doesn't fit with the decor of our home, so I got to put it in my office.
That's what all women do, right? I'm like, we're going through like redecorating our apartment right now, and just every piece of furniture that my man is responsible for having in this apartment, I'm just like, I look at it and it hurts my soul as a woman to look at how incongruent it is with other things in the room.
Yeah.
But I just deal with the pain. I'm not gonna like make him get rid of it or anything. I just deal with the pain and subtly hint, like, could we maybe get you a new desk? Could we maybe? Because I can't. It's actual physical pain. Women, you will know. You will know if you have like an eye for interior design or anything like that, or a certain vision for a way something's supposed to look. It actually gives you mental and physical pain.
Yeah, my wife works in the home decor industry and like designs showrooms for that and everything. So
she knows.
Was never gonna have much say. She'll like let me chime in and stuff, but I can't like make a decision and then be like, hey, I did this. It's all she's got it all visioned out. But she puts everything together much better than me. So I had my bachelor pad time, and I'm glad she's in charge in the house with all that stuff.
Yeah, it's our duty. It's our duty as women. It's our calling.
You just alienated some feminists watching. Chloe Bear says, I don't know if this is sent the first time. Hopefully I'm not too late, but Amala, you're Foxy Cleopatra from Austin Powers, gold member. You got it.
Yes, you got it. And if you say Angel Dynamite from Scooby-Doo, you also got it. If you say 70s Disco Girl, you got it. Ding, ding, ding. Check under your chair. There is nothing there, but you win my affection.
Kate Svensson says your costume gives me Charlie's Angels vibes at the risk of showing my age. Depends on which Charlie's Angels you're talking about. You're talking about like the one from the 60s or 70s or whatever, or the TV show, or the Charlize Theron movies.
I'll take either. And also, if another deep cut, if you guys have ever watched the movie Undercover Brother, that comedy movie, which is hilarious. I also look like the girl from that as well. Sister Girl. Oh, so good.
Girl.
I love that movie. I need to watch that again, too. This whole stream is reminding me of just movies that I need to watch.
M says, hello, guys. I'm looking great. Thanks for bringing some much-needed light into today's internet world. Greetings from Slovakia.
Oh, thank you. Slovakia. Have we gotten one of those before? That's like
might be a new one.
That's a crazy one. Welcome. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, y'all are all over the place today.
All over.
Here's one from England. Dean Hunt says, on behalf of England, anyone in the world can dress up as William Shakespeare, Sherlock Holmes, or Doctor Who, etc. This All Hallows Eve. Enjoy the world over.
Just have fun. Have fun with the characters that you relate to or think are funny or whatever, and don't care. If somebody's going to bring negative energy into your life, just stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Rose Thorne says, love the outfit. You look adorable.
Thank you. You guys are too nice. Too nice.
And I think that is our last one. Glad we ended on a positive note.
Yes, we did. Guys, thank you so much for watching on this Hallows Eve. I hope you had a fun time with the stream today. If you liked, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time we're live. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Plus, we post videos for you guys every single day. As somebody brought up in the super chats, tomorrow's video is going to be about Snow White being reimagined for a 2025 audience. So who knows what that's going to look like, but we'll be here to discuss it tomorrow, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Leave a comment down below. What are you dressing for Halloween? Are you even participating in Halloween? If not, what are you getting up to? As always, if you disagreed with anything I said during the show, duke it out, but do so respectfully. We always like to encourage healthy debate. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow.